Welcome back, Fixed Blade fans. OG Blade here with you once again. There's the logo in case you missed the interesting opening with the animation and all that wild stuff. But I'm back with you again with, believe it or not, a Fixed Blade review. And look at that company. That is a longer box than we're used to seeing with something like that. And you may know the name Remette from their very popular Swordfish gravity knife. That's been plastered all over the reviews this past couple of months or so in 2024. That's a very interesting knife. And so far, I only know Remette as a folding knife and gravity knife company. But let's see what's in the box. It's a magnetic cover box. And by the way, the folks at Remette had reached out to me and asked me if I would review this sample that they sent me. And I thank them for sending that along. And what's very interesting inside the box is this whole contraption here that they sent along, which is a fixed blade knife in a Kydex sheath with a tech lock, sort of an arrangement, not a branded tech lock by Trezola, but a tech lock type clamp for your belt nonetheless, and a fire starting steel with a little tool that comes along with it that allows you, and I'm not going to create any sparks here in the studio. I don't want any fires. Don't want to test how good this works. And we've got a little wrench sort of thing going on here. And what else have we got? A millimeter measurer and inches on the other side. So kind of a full trail package, if you want to call it that. I think I might have had it in the bottom instead of the top. It's probably where they want it, right about there. Not sure. But let's take a look at what's inside the sheath. And here we have what they're calling the Allosaurus, as in the dinosaur Allosaurus. And it has an interesting rock patterned G10 handle. We have what could be construed as kind of a hammer or pommel with a lanyard hole in there. It is a D2 knife, so fairly budgety. And I'll make sure you've got links to both Remette and anywhere else where you might be able to purchase this fixed blade knife. Feels comfy in the hand. We got some jimping here that's a little on the slippery side. I'm not sure how useful that jimping is going to be. Very often when they put jimping on a knife and then coat it, and I'm not sure what the black coating is here, whether it's black oxide or Cerakote, probably nothing fancier than that for a budgety knife. Has kind of a stone-washed finish. And again, holds very nicely. Can be a useful tool, while not really marketed as a tactical sort of a knife. The point is online, could be used should you get in some trouble and want to use the knife to protect yourself. But I'd say mainly it is designed as a tool. So we've got a point that should work very well at about a 45-degree angle or greater for your point work. Sort of a reverse tanto clip thing going on there, call it what you want. Got a nice even belly and feels like it's got a pretty good edge on it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, wow. They do a great job, Remette does, putting an edge on their knives. I remember that the folders also had great edges on them. That is really superior. Well, I thought I might have had a microphone problem, but it was just that I didn't have the bar up there on the screen showing me I had any volume. I've done that before, not turned the mic on. But we'll continue wherever it is I left off, and probably need to edit a bit of that sound check out that I did at the end of the last little clip. What I was saying was we have kind of a smooth jimping here because of whatever coating they put on it, or simply that it wasn't cut in very aggressively. And not all jimping is effective as some other jimping. So we'll call that jimping not that effective. I am trying to give you an honest appraisal of the knife. It has pretty nice balance, right where it should be there, right in that swale for the finger, the index finger. You've got a nice stop going forward should you do any poking, piercing sort of work with the knife. All four fingers fit on there ahead of the taper at the end that brings you to the pommel. And let's get some measurements on this guy, and we'll do some compares. Got 8 1/4 inches overall with a blade length of shorter than I thought, really. Just a bit over, call it a 3.6-inch blade. Seems a lot bigger than that. And we have some other measurements here in terms of the thicknesses in inches. Handle is 0.57 for a fixed blade of this size, not that bad. And 0.16 on the blade, which brings us to a millimeter equivalent of 4 millimeters. As far as the weight goes, knife alone, in ounces, 5.56, we'll call that. With the sheath and the ferro rod on there and the little tool, we get way up there to 10.34 ounces. Again, D2 steel, so a good usable semi-stainless steel. A lot of people look at it as totally non-stainless, but it's like 50-50. It's not a completely stainless steel. It is going to rust if you leave water on it, you cut some meat with it or what have you, and you leave it on there, cut a fruit, even citrus, and you will over some time get some corrosion. The black coating is going to help you with that. And where the edge is exposed, you can either simply sharpen off any stain that may end up on there, or you can use what I use, which is a clear ceramic coating that Flitz makes, very similar to what you put on a car after you polish it. And that's supposed to last for up to a year. I've used that on utility knives with good success, ones that I keep in my pocket that I sweat on all the time. And I would say it holds up about a month in your pocket before you start seeing some tarnish and rust on the utility blade. So I know that it works. Whether or not it is something you want to use on food, I think it's pretty inert. So I haven't worried about it. I've used it on knives and I've cut food with it, and I'm still here to talk about it. The T5 by Lion Steel, for comparison, another outdoorsy sort of a knife. A good deal larger, maybe a good 3 inches longer overall, of Nylox steel, and 2 inches longer in the blade, and a little beefier than 4 millimeters, probably closer to 5 millimeters for the stock. Really nice sunburst handle. They did a great job with this. This is an aftermarket Kydex sheath. I don't recall the company that made it for me, but it's pretty decent. Came with a leather sheath, which is also pretty decent. And we have a smaller fixed blade, kind of all-around use, the Tamashi, designed by Bob Trezzola, made by Civivi, also a D2 knife. Let's get the big guy out of the middle. And put these side by side. So the Tamashi is about 1 inch longer overall. And if we go to the top part of the guard, we've got about a 1/2 inch longer. So a little bit longer. So more around the 4-inch range. Let's see, what do we have exactly? Yeah, it's like 4¼ inches on this blade. Beautiful knife. Love this knife. This is in the handle design that Bob made famous in the 80s with his initial fixed blade, his Battle Guard, and some of the other knives that he made. I had a custom very close to this. So that is the Civivi Tamashi. Nice sheath with that one. We have a decent sheath with this one. Again, you can decide that you want to keep this tech lock on. It's pretty bulky. Or simply, remove that pretty easily by taking those 2 screws out. You got Chicago screws on the other side. And then you could end up putting on like a DCC clip if you wanted, a tech lock, a belt loop, tuck it inside your belt. It's a small enough knife where you could do that. This, however, is going to be a little uncomfortable if you put it inside the belt. So maybe this is better on the outside of the belt. And yeah, I don't want to. Said I didn't want to, but I'm sure you can make some sparks with that guy outside the studio. But a nice place for it there. And this will just sort of dangle. I don't believe there is a place in the sheath for this, but that's fine. I mean, it may do fine just letting it dangle right there, particularly if you're wearing that on the outside of your belt. Back out a little bit here. So, this is the Allosaurus fixed blade. I'm not sure if it's the first fixed blade by the Remette knife company or not, but it's a pretty decent knife. And I think for the money, hard to go wrong. I mean, there's some other D2 knives out there that are probably going to be in the $60, $50, $60, $70 price range. Again, not sure where this is coming in, but I'm sure it's well below $100. But you can check it out if you're interested. And thanks again to Remette for sending it my way for consideration and review. Be well. Don't forget to give this vid a like and subscribe. OG Blade signing out.